So I recently beat Death Stranding, the Norman Reedus DoorDash simulator, where you deliver packages while trying to avoid the spooky ghost demons that try to pull you into the tar. And you're carrying around a baby in a tube full of tang or something. I don't know what the baby's swimming around in, but it looks pretty gross. But anyway, I finished the game recently and it was fantastic. So that's why I'm drawing this cool little picture for you. I'm gonna talk about the game a little bit. I'm gonna try not to be spoiler. There shouldn't be any spoilers. I'll try to avoid anything like any real details about the game. So don't worry if you haven't played too much of it yet, or if you haven't played it at all. I'll try not to ruin anything for you. Also, another side note, I forgot to draw him with his hood on. I wanted it to be like this really dramatic scene where the Ordra deck is going off because it detects a BT nearby and there's gonna be rain. But unfortunately, I forgot to draw with the hood on, and his hood should be up. I'm not gonna ruin anything for people who haven't played the game yet, but he should have a hood. So just imagine his hood is up, or else he would be just straight up dead right now. So just imagine he's got the hood. Woo, yeah, Photoshop it on there, I guess. I don't know. Also, another side note, when it comes to drawing people, I'm still kind of new. I used to draw cats and all sorts of goofy stuff. So especially likeness, I'm not really the best at capturing likeness. So it didn't really end up looking like Norman Reedus. It looked more like a Romanidus. Like I got close. I got as close as I could with the skill I have. So I'm sorry if it doesn't look like Norman Reedus. So the first thing I want to say is I absolutely loved Death Stranding. I played it on the PS4. I know recently it came out for the PC. I might buy it again for the PC. I'm not really sure. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm completely biased because I love Hideo Kojima, and I was really excited about the cast of actors in this game. So some of you know, like, I don't really like reviews. I think game journalism in general is really stupid. Opinions are super objective, and you know what one person likes could be completely different than what another person likes. Like, I could talk about this game and just say all these amazing things about it, but someone else could play the game and just have a horrible experience with it. So I never really take game reviews seriously, because it feels stupid. Like, what one person likes is not what anyone else would like. So I don't know. Take what I'm going to say with a grain of salt. The only objective opinion is that all opinions are stupid. That's really all I need to say. Again, I'm gonna try not to say too much about the game that won't spoil anything. I mean, you could literally watch all the trailers for this game and still have no idea what the hell's going on. Cause I was watching all the trailers. I'm trying to piece everything together as I'm watching them, and I'm just like, what is this game? It doesn't even make any sense. Like, it's so mysterious. Like, Hideo Kojima just did not give any information about what this game was about. Like, watching the trailers just made me more confused. Because usually you can watch a trailer, and I feel like trailers give too much away, almost. Like, there's some trailers I see of games and movies where I'm like, I don't even feel like I need to play it. I feel like I just got the whole gist from the trailer. I'm looking at you, Batman vs. Superman. I feel like you could just watch the trailer, then it's the whole movie from beginning to end in the trailer. But one thing I can't say without any spoilers is it's the weirdest game I've ever played. And I've played like Katamari Damacy, where you're like rolling up shit into balls. Like, that's weird. This game is such a weird experience, but it's in such a good way. Like, it's so unlike anything I've ever played, but it's just this constantly changing game where it on the surface it does seem very basic. It's just this back and forth. You're delivering stuff. You're just making deliveries, you know. But throughout the game, it consistently gives you new mechanics to overcome the challenges that are in your way. So like, there's more than just point A to point B. Like, there's terrain, there's enemies, you have to worry about the cargo, you have to worry about the health of the cargo, and like, there's other like stipulations and stuff like that too. Like, I don't want to give too much away, but it throws a lot of really interesting stuff at you. And I think equipment wise, like, I really like the way that the equipment was managed, the cargo was managed. Like, it makes you kind of think about stuff. Like, you sort of have to like prepare before you go out to do a delivery. Like, you can't just like do it and just, you know, hope for the best. I mean, you can, but you'll probably end up breaking shit and getting really upset in real life. So the game like gives you new equipment as the game goes on, and it gives you new stuff until like the very end of the game. Like you are always learning new structures and new gear that you can use. It's really interesting. Like it's not like it's just all in the first half of the game, like just all the way to the end. Like it's teaching you new things, even like new mechanics, like different things you can do. And it changes the game in a way that makes it interesting. Like it's constantly evolving. Like you never feel like, okay, I got the hang of this, like this is what it's gonna be for the rest of the game. Like it just constantly keeps like improving. I don't know if that's the best way to say it. Like it's not changing, but it's improving. It's just it's a weird way to do it, but I loved it. And one thing I gotta say that they pulled off, that I don't know how they pulled it off, was the baby. I'm not gonna say too much about the baby, but BB28 is the name of your baby, and I hate babies. I think a crying baby is like the worst sound known to man. Like there's nothing worse than a crying baby. But I actually loved this baby by the end of this game. Like if you've played it, you know. Like you know. This baby is such a great character. Like it doesn't even say anything, but it has so much like charisma to it, and it just like you love this baby. Like I hate babies, but I love this baby. And it's just like every character in this game was just so interesting. Like I just wanted to know more about all these characters, and the acting is amazing, and the voice acting is incredible, and just like it's so crazy to see how far we've come with just motion capture. You know, like I remember playing like Vice City, like Grand Theft Auto Vice City, where they didn't even have hands. They just had these weird like oven mitt things. They didn't even have individual fingers. I don't even think they had individual fingers in San Andreas either. They just had like these mittens. Like everyone they would point with these big ass mittens. They're just like, you there, you. They didn't have like hands or fingers or anything. And now like you can see like Norman Reedus's pores. Like you can see everything, and you can see everything, trust me. Oh my god, you can make him take a shower, you can make him take a shit. He's completely naked through a lot of this game. It's crazy. So people who want to see Norman Reedus naked, there you go. I don't know how he feels about that, but it's weird. Like you can make him there's a video game where you can make Norman Reedus take a shower and take a shit. Like it's just. And that's the same game as this game with these spooky ghost demons that try to pull you into tar and kill you. It's the same game where Norman Reedus can take a shit, and then he turns the shit into grenades. He turns his pee and his shit into grenades. It's the weirdest shit ever. Like this game is so weird, but it's so amazing. A lot of what people were saying about the game is that the first half of it is really slow. I don't feel like the first half of it. I feel like that's kind of misleading. Like it took me maybe, I think 30 hours to beat the game, and I did some side stuff. I didn't do too much. Like there's a lot of side stuff you can do, but I didn't do too much of like the side quests. I mostly just did the main story, and it took me about 30 hours to get through what I did. I would have to say like the first 5 hours maybe is kind of slow. You don't really get too much equipment. It's pretty bare bones, but it's just trying to like teach you the mechanics. Like I think the way the game teaches you the mechanics is really interesting, because like you need to like balance, and you need to like maintain your stamina and manage your fluids and stuff. You also need to manage the baby. It's really interesting how they teach you the game, but I think the first 5 hours is a little slow, but after that it picks up quite a bit. So the BTs, they are like the most terrifying enemy I've ever seen in a game. They like you can sometimes see them, sometimes can't see them. They're just, and like the noises they make are terrifying. Just they're a really well designed enemy, I think, and the way you interact with them and the way they interact with you is just really freaky. Just the whole atmosphere of the game is really freaky when it comes to the BTs. So I loved most of this game. About 95% of this game I loved, but just like the good, we need to talk about the bad. And this game does have some, like, really, not much, but it does have some bad sides. The main bad side to me, the main con, is the vehicles. The driving in this game is abysmal. Like, I don't even, like, it doesn't even seem like it doesn't even seem like it was finished, you know? Like, vehicles, it almost feels like the vehicles were just thrown in at the last minute. They are just so goddamn hard to drive, and like, sometimes you're backing up, but you're going forward. Sometimes, like, you get stuck on, like, a different plane of existence, and you're driving half on some plane that you can't even see. It's wacky. It gets really wacky. I just had to say that. Especially the trike, or the three-wheeler, or whatever it's called, isn't as bad, but the truck, oh my god. I think it's easier to drive a cruise ship on a mountain than it is to drive one of these cars, and mostly it's because there's just too many rocks. Like, there's rocks everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I like, the landscape in this game is beautiful. I had to say, this is one of the most beautiful looking games I've ever played, but I've never seen a landscape that had that many rocks. Like, maybe a graveyard with, like, gravestones and shit, but I've never seen like, if you've ever seen a screenshot of the game, there's just rocks everywhere. Who put those rocks there? That doesn't even make, like, did some weird unnatural phenomenon happen where a mountain just decided to not be a mountain and just fell apart? It's just like, there's rocks everywhere, and when you hit the rocks with the car, you don't know what direction you're gonna go in. You could just wind up in a different dimension when you hit a rock in this game. So I don't know, man. Sometimes the vehicles just don't make any sense. And it's just because, like, there's not any, like, good spot to drive. Like, it's almost like the game tries to push you to just walk everywhere, which I don't have a problem with, but, you know, I mean, there are some things that make driving easier later in the game, which I won't talk too much about, but for the beginning of the game, driving is just, it's stupid. It's just plain stupid. So the controls for driving can be really bad, but the controls for Sam can sometimes be a little finicky. Sometimes, like, you can gain momentum as you go downhill, which is really cool. So, like, if you're trying to run away from enemies, if you're trying to get somewhere faster, you can actually just run down a mountain and you can get a lot of momentum and you go a lot faster. But if you hit one rock, if you stub one toe, he will go ass over tea kettle and just fall down a mountain. And you know, that's fine. You know, it's just something you have to look out for. But the problem, though, is that sometimes he doesn't necessarily stop when you want him to stop. So he can, like, stumble, but if he takes a couple more steps, the game like almost registers that as you fell, and you didn't actually fall, but the game sort of registers it like that, and your cargo will actually take damage from it. So that must just be like a bug. I don't know if other people experience that, because it's a big pain in the ass. Because sometimes you'll drop down from, like, a 2-foot drop, but if he takes a couple more steps and stumbles, the cargo just goes everywhere. Like, your cargo just, like, flies out like confetti, and I'm like, what happened? I didn't mean to do that. Another really good point is the music. The music in this game is so good. It is so emotional, and it's so good at setting the tone. Because just when you're doing deliveries, sometimes the music will turn on, and, like, you'll just get this. It's almost like a movie. Like, the camera will pan backwards, and you'll just see, like, a wide shot of the environment, and it'll play a song, and the songs are always so moody and so good, and, like, it really, like, gets you in the head of what Sam's feeling, and it gives you that sense of, like, forlorn. And, like, it gets you in the mood. Like, the music in this game is so great. I wouldn't necessarily call this game multiplayer, but it does have a really cool level of player interaction, which I've only ever really seen in Dark Souls. Like, it's kind of like Dark Souls, but much more involved. So, like, in Dark Souls, you could put down a sign, and the sign could be something like, you know, use fire weapons, or look out above, or, you know, there's an ambush ahead. Well, in this game, you can build structures that other players can use in their world. So, like, whenever you build something, or if you leave a vehicle behind, it'll actually pop up in someone else's world and they can use it. So when you hook yourself up to the chiral network, you can use other people's bridges, other people's climbing ropes, their ladders. There's even spots where you can like leave weapons and equipment that you don't want to use anymore, and other people can come by and pick them up. Or cargo that maybe you can't get it to where it's supposed to go, so you can drop it off at this place and someone else can pick it up and like finish the job. And that's such a cool way to like bring players together. Like, it's not really multiplayer, like you're never really in the same world, but it really feels like you are connected to other people, and you can see like their name and everything. You can see like how many likes they got and stuff, because you can give things likes in this game, which is really funny. But it's so cool to like get to a new area and there's already stuff set up that you can use, because it makes the game so much easier. In terms of like genre, this is like a really hard game to pin down to one genre, because like at times it's like this really cool open world like exploration kind of game with adventure and stuff, and then other times it's kind of like a resource management game. It's got some action elements into it, so there's like some third-person shooter kind of stuff. There's horror elements, there's off-road trucking elements when you get your truck stuck in a mud ditch and you can't get it out, and no matter how many times you make the truck jump, it just doesn't go anywhere, and then eventually it just backs up and goes into another dimension. Overall, like, I had a really fun time playing it. I absolutely love the game, and I might get it for PC because I think there's going to be some slightly different stuff for PC. I don't think they're going to fix the controls for PC, because I think the controls are just the way they are. Maybe Hideo Kojima's just like messed up in the head and he thinks it's funny that people are driving into walls and destroying all their cargo, or like driving into a lake and just losing everything. But I love it, and I know a lot of people have said some really shitty stuff about the game, and it's definitely not a game that's for everybody. I totally understand that, because like I could play the game and have an incredible time playing it, and someone else could play the game and think it's complete horseshit and just hate it. And we would both be right and we would both be wrong. Like, it's one of those things. Not everyone's gonna like it. Some people are gonna love it, some people are gonna hate it. That's the way it is. But if you get the chance, I would definitely check it out. Like, at least, watch some gameplay and see if it's something that you've been interested in, because it's such a great experience. Like, the ending, oh my god, the ending is like the epitome of, but wait, there's more. Like, it literally is just so much crammed into the last 5 hours of this game in a good way. Like, the story just gets so intense and so interesting towards the end, and it's a great experience, and I can't recommend it enough. It's definitely in my top 10 games now. I did this whole thing and did this whole video, and I didn't even talk about the thing I'm drawing, so yeah, this is Sam with the order deck popping out. It's the thing that's used to detect BTs, which are the enemies in this game, and he's got one of his packages under his arm. And I tried my heart. Like, I've never really drawn babies before. It's not really my forte. I tried to mess with it as much as I could. I still feel like the baby looks a little weird, but he looks better than he did originally, because the first one that I drew looked scarily like Bobby Hill from King of the Hill. Yeah, it looked like Bobby. It just looked really disturbing. It just looked like someone trapped Bobby in a jar full of Tang. So I tried to fix it the best I could, but who knows? I don't know. I'll have to practice drawing infants more, I guess. So this is Sam from Death Stranding with his faithful companion BB28. I hope you guys enjoyed this drawing. If you guys want to see me draw anything else, please let me know in the comments. And if you want to see my other artwork, check it out on Instagram, which is right here on the screen. Turn on the notification bell so you can see my notifications. And yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.